Harris has to say, because she really doesn't need to talk about this border situation. And if she acknowledges it, I think that that's a bad thing for her. I think it's a very bad thing for her. So we'll see. Fast and Furious versus Freddy and Jason in space. Dude, I love the Freddy versus Jason movie. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I saw Freddy versus Jason. But back in the day when I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed Freddy versus Jason. I mean, I don't know if it's aged very well because it has been a long time since I watched it. But I would like to go back and watch that one. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. Thought it was great. All right. President Trump is moments away. All right. So we got some music playing and all that. So we are currently waiting. Charles W. Jansen says Fast and Furious plus Jurassic Park plus Transformers plus Godzilla plus Soups. Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm going to be honest with you. They already have that. Can anybody guess? They already have this. Do you know what it's called? Are you ready? Do you know what it's called? It's called Fortnite. Yeah, boy. They already have it. It's called Fortnite. That's essentially what Fortnite is. We've had dinosaurs in Fortnite. We've had the crazy Mad Max cars. We've got Transformers. We've got superheroes. Like, that is Fortnite. That's what that is.
You, the auto workers. Now, if you are an auto worker, I want you to raise your hand high. Let us.
And I haven't played Fortnite in a while. I really want to play it. We might play it tonight. We might play Fortnite tonight. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how long this stream goes and how much we get to cover. There's a lot to cover. Yeah, I'm a fan of Fortnite. Chat loves Haba. Yes, the chat does. Nate's meme says, "Don't lie. No one is interested in what Kamala has to say." Well, not from a standpoint of from a train wreck standpoint. That's why people would be interested, for sure. Actual Jensen says He-Man is not gay. He mounts more kitty battle cat than you can handle, Fig. Also, 2001 He-Man is better than 2011 Thundercats. Well, first of all, I have no problem with He-Man. But the narrative out there, a lot of people have said like He-Man's gay and all that. I don't think so. Let's see. Where's this comment? Let's see. Where's it at? Okay. You're becoming obsessed with Trump. F&T is dying. Okay, well, let's break that down. First of all, you misspelled your. Secondly, I've been obsessed with Trump, so I don't know where your idea is of becoming obsessed. I would say I've been obsessed with Trump. Like, I've been obsessed for a long time, so I'm not becoming obsessed. I've been obsessed. And secondly, F&T is still the biggest nerd show in this entire sphere. So, dude, like, the amount of L's that you just took on one fucking comment is impressive, okay? It's impressive. So congratulations on 3 L's in one fucking sentence, basically. Good Lord, man. Woo! That's impressive. Let's see here. F&T is the nerd podcast, 1000%. How did you all end up with 2 Savvies? What do you mean? I don't know. Like, Savvy, people like I love Madam Savvy. Madam Savvy's fantastic. I told her, like, she's one of my favorite people that I've met in this whole sphere. She just gets it. She just showed up one day on stream. She talked shit. She got all the jokes, and I'm like, yeah, I like this chick. She's she knows our sphere very well. She just fits in. She talks shit. And she's good, but we got Sevy and we got Savvy. So there's 2 Sevy. There's a Sevy and a Savvy. Okay. But yeah, she's great. And none of the stuff like bothers her. She just rolls with the jokes and stuff like that. All right. So we're still waiting. Is there any update? All right, let's see. Let's go over to this. Let's go over to this right here. Gotta go to the live. Why does it take so long?
You hear about the Hezbollah leader getting
I
killed.
will end the mandate on day one for all electric cars.
Well, Trump is in
Israel
Warren,
don't fuck
Michigan right
around,
now.
man.
He's about to step out on stage for what they're calling a Save Our Autos town hall. Now, he's fighting for the auto workers as the auto worker union, the UAW, is fighting for Kamala.
I don't know.
Despite what we know, that this EV mandate has been a total
Well, this one
boondoggle,
was recent,
billions
but
to
I
the
don't
big
know
three
about the other one you're
automakers
talking about.
and losing a lot of money along the way. It's going to crush the entire U.S. auto industry. Just within the last few weeks, Stellantis, which is home of Chrysler, Lancia, Maserati, they announced plans to lay off thousands of workers in their Michigan plants, with more layoffs planned. And let's not forget GM. They just laid off 600 at a plant just outside of Detroit. Joining me now is James Benson Jr., a Michigan auto.
Okay, I think Trump's getting ready to come out. I don't know if somebody's coming out. There we go.
I think it was just a missile. Some kind of airstrike, I think.
I'm talking about with a lot of people being released into our country that should never, ever
He's going to pounce.
be here.
He is going to pounce on this.
Like
Yeah,
nobody can
like
believe,
that.
but I've been saying it for 3.5 years because we are the party of common sense. We really know what's going on. And coming out of jails, murderers at levels that nobody thought possible. And it was all done by Comrade Kamala Harris. Our great border czar, who's incompetent, who's totally incompetent, and 245,000 criminals,
I'll be
but
back.
much more than 13,000 convicted murderers who were in jail. They were all released into our country, and we can't put up with this. This is gross incompetence, and let's get back to the show, okay? Get back to the show, right?
Absolutely. And Mr. President, I've got to tell you, they have been having a great time. While they've been waiting for you, they've been singing, they've been talking. And I know we've got some questions tonight. And Nico, you're first up. Let's have at it.
Come on.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Hello, Nico.
My name is Nico. I'm from Plymouth, Michigan. Last week, I was laid off at Detroit Diesel. I was an assembler on the line, building diesel engines made in the USA. And my question is about immigration. Illegal immigrants are hurting American workers like me who are just starting off. How will you stop this invasion?
Well, very easy. We're going to close the wall. We're going to close the border. You know, I built hundreds of miles. Nico, I built hundreds of miles of wall and did it well. And we had the best numbers we ever had 4 years ago. And now we have the worst numbers in the history of the world, not just this country. At least 21 million people came in during their term. And as we just said, a lot of them are real bad people, real rough people. But they're also taking a lot of jobs from Americans, probably happened with you. And as the small number of jobs they created were all taken by illegal immigrants in the last short period of time. And we're going to make that change. You look like it'd be great. I'd like to have you make the motor, the engine, the motor of my car any day of the week. I'll bet you did a great job. I'll bet he did a great job. But we're going to bring the automobile business back to this area where it started, and we're going to bring it back at levels that have never been seen
like almost
before.
done this,
We're going to be
Jet?
lowering taxes. We're going to be doing a lot of things, but we're lowering taxes. We're going to use tariffs very, very wisely. You know, our country in the 1890s was probably, Marcia, probably the wealthiest it ever was because it was a system of tariffs. And we had a president, you know, McKinley, right? You remember Mount McKinley, and then they changed the name. But one of those things, he was really a very good businessman, and he took in billions of dollars at the time, which today it's always trillions, but then it was billions and probably hundreds of millions. But we were a very wealthy country, and we're going to be doing that now. We're going to do it where we keep, you know, our enemies and our friends too. They've taken advantage of us for years on trade. And year by year, all the time, we're losing our companies that make our cars, make the autos. A lot of them are going to Mexico now, and it's Mexico through China because China owns the factories. They're building big factories. They wouldn't have done it with me. They're building big factories, the biggest in Mexico, and they think they're going to make the cars and sell them in and close up Detroit, close up everything in this area, close up South Carolina, and it's not going to happen.
Thank you for the
because we're going to put very heavy tariffs on those cars coming across the border, and we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let it happen. So what we're saying is, Nico, we're going to have these companies that want to build in Mexico, they want to build in China, if they want to do business in the United States, they have to make their product, whether it's a car or anything else. We want them to make their product, have their plant in the United States. This way we employ our people like
I
Nico,
agree.
we're going to employ you, I guarantee, and we're going to do it very fast. And then we have to keep out the competition, and we're going to make fair trade by charging them tariffs. If they want to come in and steal our wealth and steal our jobs and steal our companies, then they have to pay a price for that. And we've done it. And
sorry to hear that,
I
Caleb. Yes,
charged,
we can make it happen.
As Marcia can tell you, China paid hundreds of billions of dollars during my term, and I had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And we were just getting started, actually, but we had the greatest economy, the greatest employment for everybody, men, women, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, everybody. Young people with a diploma, without a diploma, people that went to the best schools in the world, got PhDs. Every single class, without exception, was the best they've ever been. And we're going to get that back and then some. So we're going to bring a lot of companies in, and we're going to have a lot of jobs, and you're going to have a lot of jobs to choose from, okay? Thank you.
That's great. Everybody appreciates that and appreciate when you talk about immigration, you talk about building the wall and making certain that we secure this country. Okay, Misty.
And by the way, we built more wall than I said I was going to build, and then we had 200 miles of wall ready to go. It was all fabricated, all made to the highest specifications of Border Patrol and ICE, and it was all set. And then we got more votes than any sitting president has ever gotten by far. And they say we lost the election. So let's leave it at this. You know what? We have one coming up in 39 days, so that'll be a wonderful replacement. Wonderful replacement.
Absolutely. All right. Misty.
Good evening, President Trump.
I wasn't sure. She reminded me when I was in the debate with crooked Hillary Clinton. She got up and she started walking around, and I said, "What's going on over here? Go ahead." I didn't know you were going for such a beautiful young lady. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, President Trump.
Good evening.
My name's Misty. I proudly build the Ford Broncos and Rangers. Yeah! I've been with Ford for 25 years. If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sorry. I was not for you in the beginning. But my son told me I sounded ignorant and I needed to educate myself on you.
Oh, did Kamala go down to the border yet?
That's what we're like. Where is he? Where is he? Is he here?
No,
You say, I love your son.
Call her out or whatever?
He said just get his autograph. Anyways,
Yeah,
so I took the challenge on, and I'm proud to say that I'm voting for you again. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
My question for you is, I'm a single mom of 5, and becoming difficult to afford, the basics. So can you please tell me what you're going to do to lower the prices for us?
Yeah, so what we have to do, because the prices are so high, thank you, darling, very much. It's a great question. People are hurt by the cost of groceries, the cost of everything. There's nothing less expensive. If you go back 4 or 5 years, everything was just a fraction of what it is now. And they're making essentially, if they make the same wages, they're getting wiped out because prices are up 50, 60, 70% for a lot of things. For some items, it's much more than that. Well, look at interest rates. They were 2%, now they're 10%, but at 10%, you can't get the money. At 2%, there was plenty of money for everybody for buying a house, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at groceries, I think it's this thing that really, I always say this is an election that I used to say determined by the stomach. Actually, I don't believe that anymore. I think it's now determined by the brain because nobody wants to have criminals pouring into our country. Nobody wants to have any of these horrible things that are happening to our country. But we're going to be bringing them down, and it's going to start with energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. Energy's coming way down. Energy's coming way down, and when energy comes down, everything else follows. That's what started this onslaught of inflation, that the greatest we've ever had in our country. We had the greatest inflation over the list, and it actually, you know, we had almost no inflation. And that carried on for 2 years into there. I used to say his, now I say there. But nobody even really knows who our president is, if you want to know. Who's our president? Who is he? Nobody, we're not sure who the president is. Yeah. It sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But the inflation, it carried on for almost 2 years into that. We had a solid no inflation. It was solid. And then it exploded because what they did was the energy, and also what they did, just almost as importantly, was they spent like nobody's ever spent. They went crazy. And the Green New Scam, and they were spending on things that didn't help the country. And it also drove. So between the energy and the spending, the inflation went up, and food prices came with it, and rent came with it. Everything came with it. And we had, I think, the worst inflation we've ever had. And we're going to bring it down. So we're going to bring it down with energy and interest rates. The interest rates are going to come down. But first, we're going to get, and here's a statement that I make to you tonight. We are going to have energy. We have more liquid gold, I call it. You've heard that said, liquid gold. That's oil and gas. We have more oil and gas, liquid gold, than any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we're going to bring it down. We're going to bring your energy bills down, and also business, where they can employ people. But we're going to bring the energy down by 50% in the first 50% in the first 12 months. And when we do that, everything else is going to follow. Everything follows the energy. And because we have so much, you know, they don't drill, they go to Venezuela. We buy oil from Venezuela. What's that all about? And we have more than anybody else in the world. Think of it. Saudi Arabia doesn't have as much. Russia doesn't have as much. And we're going to other countries. We're going to drill, and we're going to take it out. Your energy bills will be 50% lower 1 year from January 20th. 1 year from January 20th, okay? And that's going to have a huge impact, okay? Thank you. Say hello to your son. Thank you. Very good. Good job. Thank you.
Well, I think that everybody is ready to get those prices at the pump down. And one thing I found out is 84% of all the cars that these good people made, and 84% of the cars sold in 2023 were gas-powered cars. And we need to get that price down.
Yeah, so it's a good point. Look, they have an electric mandate. Every car is going to be electric, they say. I will terminate that now. And you have to understand, Elon endorsed me with the strongest endorsement, and we love him, and he's great. And by the way, the Tesla is amazing, but not everybody should have an electric car. It might be 7 or 8% of the market. And then you also want hybrids, and you want to have pure gasoline-driven powered cars. We're going to have everything. The new one is hydrogen. There's one problem. Do you know what the problem is? They blow up. you'll be to the other side of the arena and you won't feel
I'm
too
just talking
good.
to myself.
Until they fix that problem, I'm going to pass personally. If you'd like one, you can buy one.
He
but I'm
did
gonna
say
pass.
Tesla, didn't
But you
he?
got to have
What
alternatives
kind of
and
chicken
choices.
do
That's
you
what the
get when
country's
you
all about.
go to
And
Fuchsia
we're not
Asia?
going to have, I will end the electric mandate on day one of the administration. Okay?
That is great.
Nice.
I tell you what, if we can get you back to drilling on day one and
Forget
then
it then.
get that inflation down, you know, and our audience might not know this, when you left office,
Oh, okay, then
inflation was 1.4%.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Today, the cumulative
Does it kind of have like a
inflation
glazed
rate
look?
is
Like it's kind of shiny?
20.3%.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
And as Mike Rogers, who's running for Senate here, you're going to have a great senator. And
Where is he? He's here someplace.
somewhere.
Where is Mike? There he is.
Yes,
Mike.
there he is. All right.
Wow.
There is Mike. But Mike gave me a great phrase when I was campaigning with him a few days ago. He said, the most expensive vehicle you drive in 2024 is the grocery cart. And Donald Trump is going to get those grocery prices down. All right.
We're going to get them down. It's a big deal. The groceries, more than anything else, they talk about what's at the checkout counter, the groceries, and we're going to get it all down. It's going to be done. Not just stopping and holding inflation. That's the easy part. We have this big damage done to our country. We have to get the prices down. Where bacon is up. Oh, bacon. We don't order bacon anymore. It's too expensive, right? But it's all up too much. We're going to get it down, but it's going to start with energy, and it's going to start also with interest rates, because once that happens, interest rates are going to come down too. You know, we had, as Marcia said, we had 1.4%. You know, you don't want inflation at zero because that's not actually good. And the worst thing you would have is deflation. Deflation's probably in a certain way as bad or worse than inflation. The ideal number is between 1% every year. If you could do this for the next 100 years, between 1% and 2%, and we were at 1.4% average. It was amazing, right? It was great. So we're gonna take care of inflation and quickly, and we're gonna get those prices coming down very, very substantially and very quickly. Thank you.
And make America affordable again.
And make America great again.
All right. Okay, Tony. Where is Tony? He's over here with a question. Right here. And they're bringing you a microphone.
Hello.
How about it?
Hello. Good evening, Senator, Mr. President. Welcome to Michigan. As you heard, my name is Tony. Mr. Trump, we met last year at a great round at Bedminster with the Heritage Foundation.
Good.
Great event. It was an honor. Our company is based here in the U.S. We melt steel and we make automotive parts out of ductile iron for brake components, axle components. And those are made for the big three here. Sadly, though, we're losing jobs to China, India, Mexico, and it's become more difficult to compete. Manufacturers like us, we are some of the largest users of energy, and under Harris and Biden, the energy costs have tripled. So my question is, what will you do to get energy back down so us U.S. manufacturers can compete and bring it back to the jobs here?
Yeah, so it's a great question. A lot of people have the same question because it's affecting their companies. I just left one. A man from the Netherlands, we made a speech, a wonderful guy, and he said the problem was he opened up because of me. He opened in 2017, and he had 3 great years, and now with them, he's not doing well. What we're doing is, I said about the energy as to what we do and how we do it, but China's coming in, and you said Mexico. Mexico's a big threat now. Mexico's taking a lot of your business, and we're not going to let that happen. We need a smart series of tariffs and taxes, Marcia, and it's very simple business. You know, China won't take cars from outside of China. They only take them if you build in China. You have to build your factory. So if I'm making a car and I think I'm going to sell it into China, they have a massive over 100% tariff. So what you do is you say, to not pay that tariff, I'm going to have to build my factory in China. And they encourage it. They help it. We're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to do it even better. We're going to bring cars back. We're going to bring, like you say, what are you, auto parts and things like that, right? We're going to bring that all back to this country. It's all coming back. If they had to pay tariffs on what they're doing and what they're selling into our country, they wouldn't be putting your business out of business if that's where you're going. It will never happen, and we're going to do it just the opposite. Plus, we're lowering the tax rate. So I took it from 39% to 21%. These are for companies, and that's why we had the great numbers for jobs. But now what I'm doing is I'm going, and nobody thought that was possible, and I got it approved by Congress, believe it or not. Now we're going to from 21 to 15%, but you have to make your product in the USA. So if you want to take advantage of the low tax rate, you have to make your product. So we'll be down to 15%. That gives us one of the lowest tax rates in the whole world, so it's more than competitive. Companies will come here. But in addition to that, we're going to keep this really terrible competition. I don't mind the word competition, but it's predatory. And we're going to keep this competition out so that you're able to grow your business and grow it well. And you'll make the product and you'll sell it inside our country. And I know exactly what your situation is. And it's so easy to solve. We're going to need the help of the Senate. We're going to need the help of the House. And if they won't do it, I have the authorization and the power to do it myself, and we'll have to do it. Okay?
Well, and that's why we need Mike Rogers Senator Mike Rogers. And we've got Lisa McClain, Congresswoman McClain.
Right.
Yes.
A warrior.
Yes, she is a warrior. And the amazing, incredible Congressman John James.
Hey, John. Good.
And they will help us get this done. I appreciate that you talked about tariffs, and I think it's so important that you continue to call out China, and we support you on that, because we don't want China building those plants in Mexico and then running those cars across the border.
Without any tax whatsoever, and putting everybody here in not only danger, it's over. Your union head, I don't know who he is, Sean Fain or something, whoever this guy is, he sold you out because he let Biden, who doesn't know what he's doing, I mean, you probably noticed, he let this guy come up with an all-electric mandate. Those cars are all going to be built in China. We want cars built in the USA. It's very simple. And they're going to come in at levels. We'll be having auto manufacturing at levels that we haven't seen in 50 years. We're going to have a lot of companies coming in. And we're going to make it competitive so they can come in and they can thrive. Not like this gentleman where they come in and they dump product. And you know what they do? They dump the product cheaply, and then everyone goes out of business. Then they take over the businesses, and they sell it for 2 and 3 times what it was selling for before. The whole thing, it's really not too, you know, Rockefeller in the old days, he used to open a gas station. He used to underprice it by 50, 100. He'd give the gas away. He'd drive the people out of business around him. Then he'd buy up the gas stations or close them, and he'd make a fortune. That's exactly what they do on an even bigger scale. We're not going to let it happen. It's going to be over. We're going to have a smart system of tariffs. And by the way, if they don't want to play that game, then we're going to get a lot of money from tariffs. So Marsha can tell you, I charged hundreds of billions of dollars to China in tariffs and taxes. No other president has ever charged China 10 cents. And we take in hundreds of billions of dollars, so much so that Biden can't get rid of it. He's still got it on, you know, he wants to, but it's so much money. And frankly, it's a lot of money. But also, if you did get rid of it, they'd come in and they'd put all your businesses out of business. So the Senate and the House have to get really smart on this, because purposely over a period of years, they've given it a bad name. Actually, I consider it one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. The word tariff, I love it. I think it's beautiful. Almost as beautiful as that chart that I look to the right. Almost as beautiful. Where is that chart? Where's that chart? Do they have it? I love that chart. Oh, I love that chart. Whoa. That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. If I didn't look over there real fast, I guess I wouldn't be with you tonight, right? That's I sleep with that chart. I go to bed with it. I kiss it goodnight. I love you, baby. That chart. But the word tariff is a beautiful word if properly used, and it gives us power, strength. And, you know, beyond just economic strength, there are times when I had two countries fighting. I don't want to tell you which ones, but I had two countries fighting. It looked like they were going to go to war again. I think Rick Grinnell is here. Is Rick Grinnell here? I think so. Did a fantastic job. Yeah. They're fighting. I said, fellas, you guys want to fight? You want to kill people in your countries? That's okay. But if you do, I'm going to charge you 200% tariff to do business with the United States. And that's it. They called me back 2 days later. Sir, we've made peace. After years, we've made peace. So, you know, it really does. It has a great power to it. There's a great power if you know how to use it.
Well, it does indeed. And another thing with great power was the 2017 Trump tax cuts. And we need Republicans in the Senate and the House to make the Trump tax cuts permanent.
Right. She's right. They want to raise your taxes. They want to take out the Trump tax cuts, which will, I think, close to Depression time, not recession, but Depression time, because it was the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And you got a lot of other things, too. Estate tax, death tax. If you love your children and you want to leave your business to them or whatever, does anybody not love their children? Because if you don't love your children, then it doesn't help you too much. But if you want to leave, but leave it to anybody, but you had zero estate tax. You had zero death tax, we call it. Sometimes I like the word estate better than death, but a lot of people use the word death. And that was a big thing because you would have a farm and you'd leave it to your children and they have a big tax to pay. They'd go out to the bank, they'd borrow the money, they'd end up losing the farm and living like hell. And part of our tax cuts, nobody even talks about it, but the people that are involved in this stuff really say that's one of the best things. You have no estate or death tax to pay, so it's really great.
Well, we're going to...
They want to end that.
We'll lower those taxes. We'll have those tariffs. We're going to make those cars right here and then see them loaded on a Teamster-driven big rig and taken all across the country.
And thank you to the Teamsters. Did you know I got 60% of the vote with the Teamsters? So thank you, Teamsters. That's the first time that happened in a long time.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Thank you, Teamsters.
Our next question is from Ashley. Whoops, stepped on that water bottle.
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming to Michigan. My name is Ashley, and I work at the Chrysler plant. Like many auto workers, I am deeply concerned about the future of our industry. With many jobs being outsourced as we speak, what actions will you take to ensure that our jobs stay in America so we can continue to build the best cars in the world here in Michigan?
So pretty much as we've been saying, and what I want to do is I want to be able to look your business. Years ago in this area, I was honored as the Man of the Year. It was maybe 20 years ago. Oh, and the fake news heard about it. They said, it never happened. It never happened. And I didn't know who it was. It was a group that honored me as Man of the Year. The fakers back there, see the fake news? But they said, oh, and they looked and it, you know, they said it never happened. But I said, I swear to you, it happened. It did happen. I was Man of the Year. And I came and I made a speech and I said, why do you allow them to take your car business away? Why do you allow it to happen? They're taking your business away. And I didn't know too much about it. All I know is they were taking your car industry away from you. They said it never happened. And lo and behold, somebody said, I remember the event. And then we found out and we had everything. We got the awards. We had everything. It did happen. But I gave a speech, which at the time was pretty controversial. We can't let them take your car business away. It's such an important business. And, you know, it's an important business even in times of war where they switch over. And it was really something. And I looked at that speech from, I don't know, it's like 19, 20 years ago. And I could repeat it now without changing a word. You cannot let foreign countries, and a lot of the times our worst foes are our so-called friends, okay? You know, our friends, the European Union takes tremendous advantage of us. As an example, they give us cars by the millions. We don't have too many Chevrolets in the middle of European cities, okay? European Union is brutal. They don't take our farm products for the most part. They don't take a lot. But unlike Kamala, who always complains and doesn't do anything, I keep saying, why don't you do? I saw Marsha the other day. Why didn't she do it 4 years ago almost? And I say that, you know, she's on the border today, trying justify. What a day for the border. She goes to the border today, and they just announced just before she got up to speak that more than 13,000 murderers from jail, solitary confinement people in many cases, were released. But I just say, let's go back. So we can't let them take our businesses, and we're not going to let them take our businesses. And you can control that so easily through good policy. Not her kind of policy, by the way. She changed her policy 15 times. No fracking. Oh, I like fracking. Defund the police. She wants to defund the police. Now, oh, I love the police all of a sudden. By the way, when anybody is into defunding the police even for a day during their career, they can no longer serve as president of the United States, I can tell you. So we're not going to let them take our businesses. And really, a lot of that's determined by our taxation policy. When China has to pay all that money, the people that liked me the best were the steel companies because I saved them. They were dumping, China and others, but mostly China was dumping steel in here at levels that nobody had ever seen before. And it was putting the steel companies out of business. I put a 50 and 100% tax on the dumping of steel, and the steel companies thrived. I saved them, and you have to have the steel companies. So we'll do the same thing, and you don't worry about it. Here's what you have to do. I only ask you to do one thing, and then you can sleep beautifully all night long, go to a job you love, and get a lot of money at the end of the week. You know what the thing is? Vote for Trump. If you vote for Trump, everything's going to be taken.
There you go.
Everything is going to be taken.
Right. And we have Todd. We've got another question over here. Todd is over here right there. Okay.
Hi.
He's got his microphone. Todd?
Welcome, President Trump. First off, I want to say you and your family are in me and my wife's daily prayers.
Thank you.
May God continue to watch over you.
Thank you very much.
So my name's Todd. I'm from Shelby. Unfortunately, pretty soon, over 2,000 people will be laid off from my plant that I worked at for 25 years. And we can't take...
Where are they moving? Where are they moving?
Where they move? We don't know. Actually, we don't
Probably
know.
Mexico, by the way.
Oh, the people. We don't know where the people go.
Where's the plant going to move? Do you know?
The plant's staying there. We're losing the Ram Classic, as you probably heard. We make the Grand Wagoneer. It's a beautiful truck. But we're waiting on products. So
you know why it's are they being laid off, and is the plant closing?
The plant's not closing. The people will probably be dispersed between other plants, we hope. But yeah, that's happening in the next couple of weeks.
No, it's terrible. So, okay, I get it. Thank
you.
Go ahead.
We can't take 4 more years, Harris. And my question to you is basic. It's easy. What is your one of your all-time favorite American cars?
My all-time favorite what?
What is one of your all-time favorite American cars?
Okay, so My father was a great guy. I learned so much from him. And he loved Cadillac. I have to. I mean, his biggest luxury in life was to get a brand new dark blue Cadillac every 2 years. And he would. He would get that car. He said, look at this car. He didn't know about a Rolls Royce. He didn't know about, all he liked was Cadillac. And I love it. I think it's a great car. I think it's right now. It's come a long way too, because it's come through some problems, but it's a very good car. I buy a lot of them for different clubs and things, and it's great. And they're very nice people that run the company. But my father liked Cadillac, so that's good enough for me. Does that make sense? Good. And we'll take care of your situation. You watch what happens. When I do that, they're going to be better positioned because I see what's happening with the layoffs. But they're going to be making, that's a good also. That's a good, I don't know what you call it, car. In a way, it's a car. What would you call that? Pretty much a car. They're going to be making more than they've ever made in a very short period of time. You have one thing to do. You have to elect a person with business talent and common sense. And this whole thing is going to turn around very quickly, very quick.
Yeah. Well,
thank you very much. Great question.
Mr. President, they have loved having you here in Warren, Michigan. And I think you've got 5,000 people here and even more outside that have wanted to get in and cheer for you and be here to support you. And they do love you. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And everybody is going to be working hard and pulling for November 5th. And we've got great questions that have come from the audience tonight.
Good.
And we're just so excited that you took your time to come here to a great all-American city and talk with a whole bunch of auto workers and let them know you are on their side and you're going to make manufacturing great because you believe in them.
I do.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. So nice. Marcia, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, darling. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. We got to win this one. Thank you. Thank you.
And there we go. So, yeah, I think this was probably cut a little short because he was running late. I think this probably was supposed to go a little bit longer. But he's a working man. He's everywhere. He's doing like 4 events a day right now. So it makes a lot of sense that, he doesn't have a lot of time. So, but he's doing what he can, making appearances, answering questions. And did you hear how detailed when that guy was asking him the question? Trump was asking him questions about his question, trying to get more specifics. And there the dancing goes right there. So. There's no need to be. Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, I highlighted that one. So Spirian for the 199. Nate's meme says Trump's gonna slap his way back to the Oval Office. Charles W. Jansen says no sweat. Trump is doing Cage Bush no jitsu. Earthbound Ian 99 says apparently Kamala wasn't even at the border for half an hour. No, it was all a photo op. That's all it was, man. Like, right. Oh, God. Oh, there she is. Ugh.
I think you all know, and this is why you are here, there are consequential issues at stake in this election. And one is the security of our border.
How old is she?
The United States is a sovereign nation. And I believe we have a duty
60,
to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously.
No, the fuck you don't.
We are also a nation of immigrants. The United States has been enriched by generations of people who have come from every corner of the world to contribute to our country and to become part of the American story. And so we must reform our immigration system to ensure that it works in an orderly way, that it is humane, and that it makes our country stronger.
I love how it says Kamala gives rare speech near border. I love the headline there.
So I've just come from visiting the border and the port of entry in Douglas. I spoke with dedicated agents from Border Patrol and Customs officers who every day see the overflow of commercial traffic through the port. These men and women who work there and at other places along our southern border help keep our nation secure. And they need more resources to do their jobs.
That looks pretty good.
Which is why we have and are in the process of investing $500 million to modernize and expand the port of entry here in Douglas. And why last December I helped raise the rate of overtime pay for border agents, and also why I strongly supported the comprehensive border security bill. Written last year, as you know, by a bipartisan group of senators, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Congress. That bill would have hired 1,500 more border agents and officers. It would have paid for 100 inspection machines to detect fentanyl.
We know where this is going. We know where this is going.
Of Americans every year. It would have allowed us to more quickly and effectively remove those who come here illegally, and it would have increased the number of immigration judges and asylum officers. It was the strongest border security bill we have seen in decades. It was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union, and it should be in effect today, producing results in real time right now for our country.
But you know where this is going because it's always Donald Trump's fault.
But Donald Trump tanked it.
Of course.
He picked up the phone
and
called some friends in Congress and said, stop the bill.
Of course.
Because you see, he prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And the American people deserve a president who cares more about border security than playing political games and their personal political future. And so even though Donald Trump tried to sabotage the border security bill, it is my pledge to you that as President of the United States, I will bring it back up and proudly sign it into law. And let me say, the issue of border security is not a new
proud of
issue
yourself?
to me. I was Attorney General
Good.
of a border state for 2 terms.
Take pride in your work.
I saw the violence and chaos
Somebody has
that
to.
transnational criminal organizations cause, and the heartbreak and loss from the spread of their illicit drugs. I walked through tunnels that traffickers used to smuggle contraband into the United States. I've seen tunnels with walls as smooth as the walls of your living room, complete with lighting and air conditioning, making very clear that it is about an enterprise that is making a whole lot of money in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And my knowledge on how they work comes from the fact that I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. My team and I broke up a heroin trafficking ring in the Bay Area with ties to Mexican cartels. We took down a gang working with the Sinaloa cartel to traffic methamphetamine into the United States. We seized millions of dollars worth of cocaine from the Guadalajara cartel and broke up a drug trafficking operation in
all of her prearranged speech now. She's starting to trip over words.
Including pill mills and so-called recovery centers that were pushing opioids with deadly results. As Attorney General of California, it was 10 years ago that I brought a bipartisan group of American attorneys general and led that group to travel to Mexico City to meet with Mexican attorneys general to address this issue, and in particular, to increase intelligence sharing on gang activity, all of which allowed us to prosecute more human traffickers. And I started, as Attorney General, the first comprehensive report in the state of California analyzing transnational criminal organizations and the threats they pose to public safety and to the...
You're reading from a teleprompter. We all know that. We know, we've seen you talk 1,000 times off or off script, and you are terrible. And now she is 100%. She is, and her handlers have told her, like, you've got to be serious. You've got to be serious, okay? And you can't be laughing. You've got to treat this as a very serious issue. This is so fake. Everything about her is fake.
Economy. So stopping transnational criminal organizations and strengthening our border is not new to me, and it is a long-standing priority of mine. I have done that work, and I will continue to treat it as a priority when I am elected President of the United States. And it is my pledge to you, understanding how solutions get formed, that I will reach across the aisle.
Oh, bullshit.
And I will embrace common sense approaches and new technologies to get the job done. Because I know transnational gangs coming across the border, trafficking.
Unfortunately, we have to. So we have to hear the lies and the bullshit that she's spewing. It's an unfortunate necessity. 38 days from the election, unfortunately.
In guns, drugs, and human beings could care less who somebody voted for in the last election. They could care less. They've got one goal in mind. And it is therefore critically important that anybody who calls themselves a leader would work with other leaders for common sense solutions.
Why are you waiting until the election? Why the fuck aren't you doing it right now? Like, what the fuck are you doing right now? What is stopping you from doing these things right now? Name it. Tell the people why you won't do it right now, because you have no desire to do it at all. That is the point right there. You don't have any desire to do it at all. That's why you're not doing it now. You're running on fake promises and fake bullshit. That's what it comes down to. You are literally in office right now. Joe Biden's asleep on the beach right now. He will do whatever the fuck he's told. You have the ability to do it right now, and you refuse.
Understanding the pain and the suffering that Americans are experiencing if we don't work together to fix these problems. And look, transnational gangs, one of the things I know about them, they are always innovating. So to disrupt them, we must do the same. And that means, again, working together in real time, grounded on finding common sense approaches, not just about some rhetoric at a rally, but actually doing the work of fixing a problem.
Do you hear how, like, on cue, like, the clapping is? Like, they literally probably have a person holding up the sign that says, clap, please clap, silence, let her speak, make it seem like she's in command, make it seem like she's in power. Up, clap, clap, clap. Okay, all right, silence again, let her talk, let her talk, let her talk. It's so obvious. Listen to how immediate they start clapping.
So to disrupt them, we must do the same. And that means, again, working together in real time, grounded on finding common sense approaches, not just about some rhetoric at a rally, but actually actually doing the work of fixing a problem.
You see that? Do you see how immediate everybody starts clapping?
Common sense approaches, not just about some rhetoric at a rally, but actually doing the work of fixing a problem.
Somebody's holding a fucking sign telling them to clap.
As president, I won't only bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump tanked, I will do more to secure our border. To reduce illegal border crossings, I will take further action to keep the border closed between ports of entry. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum. While we understand that many people are desperate to migrate to the United States, our system must be orderly and secure. And that is my goal. And that is my goal.
Please clap.
Securing our border also means addressing the flow of fentanyl into our communities. Fentanyl is a scourge on our country. The nature of it as a drug is such that it is highly addictive and it is highly lethal. So much so that using it one time only can be fatal. I have met far too many families, parents, loved ones who have lost a family member, a child, to fentanyl. And their grief is heartbreaking. And the devastation caused by fentanyl is being felt from rural communities to big cities. It's impacting communities across our country, regardless of where they are geographically, politically, or any other demographic you choose to talk about. It's a scourge in our country, and we have to take it seriously. And as president, I will make it a top priority to disrupt the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States.
This is the most scripted thing that she's done in a long time. Holy shit, man. Like, it is so obvious. It is so pathetic and obvious.
And I know everyone here understands that most of the fentanyl in America comes from two cartels based in Mexico. Most often, they are smuggling it through vehicles at legal ports of entry, like the one I visited today. The fact is, border officers don't have enough resources and are only able to search a fraction of the vehicles that pass through their checkpoints. This is unacceptable. They need the resources to do their jobs. And as we could have done with that border security bill, I will surge support to law enforcement agencies on the front lines. More personnel, more training, and more technology, including 100 new inspections.
You know what? I can't. I got to show this. While she's spewing this nonsense, listen to this right here.
It is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
There you go right there. So keep that in mind as you're listening to this clown talk.
Detect fentanyl hidden in vehicles, and we will make sure that our ports of entry, including airports and seaports, have additional state-of-the-art technology to detect fentanyl and the chemical tools used to make it. I will also double the resources for the Department of Justice to extradite and prosecute transnational criminal organizations and the cartels. Yes. I will ensure that we target the entire global fentanyl supply chain because we must materially and sustainably disrupt the flow of illicit fentanyl coming into our country. My approach takes into account also that the precursor chemicals used to make fentanyl are by and large made in China and then shipped to Mexican cartels and trafficked right here into the United States. Our administration demanded that China crack down on the companies that make those chemicals, and it has started to happen, but they need to do more. And as president, I will hold them to their commitment to significantly reduce the flow of precursor chemicals coming from China. And all of this to say, we must tackle this issue from every angle, because our highest charge must be to protect the lives of our people. It must be to understand the pain and to have the courage to know that solutions are at hand if we focus on fixing a problem instead of running on a problem. And on this issue, writ large, we must ensure that our country remains strong and competitive, which includes fixing our broken immigration system. And let me be clear, I reject the false choice. I reject the false choice that suggests we must either choose between securing our border or creating a system of immigration that is safe, orderly, and humane. We can and we must do
Halt doch mal
both.
rein mit deinem MD da.
We must do both.
Ja, da unten ist eine.
Ja, da stand gerade noch gar nicht so.
And we need clear legal pathways
Ich weiß aber nicht, ob der
for
jetzt da
people
ist.
seeking to come into our country.
Irgendwo im Graben liegen
And we must make
Hasn't Trump been saying this for the last 10 fucking years and you've been calling him a racist and a sexist? Hasn't? Oh my God, I can't. This woman believes in nothing. This woman believes in nothing. She believes in absolutely nothing. None of this she actually believes, and none of this she will actually do.
our current system work better. For example, it can take years for asylum claims to be decided. Well, this is a problem we can solve, including by hiring more asylum officers and expanding processing centers in people's home countries. And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years. For years. And deserve to have a system that works. I also have in mind our dreamers. I have met with so many of our dreamers throughout my career. They
God,
who have grown
shut
up
up.
in the United States, were educated, pay taxes here, serve in our military, and contribute to our communities every day. They are American in every way. But still, They do not have an earned pathway to citizenship. And this problem has gone unsolved at this point now for decades. The same goes for farm workers, who ensure that we have food on our tables and who sustain our agricultural industry. And they too have been in legal limbo for years because politicians have refused to come together to fix our broken immigration system. Well, as president, I will put politics aside to fix our immigration system and find solutions to problems which have persisted for far too long.
You are in office right now. You are in office right this moment. Anybody with a working brain and the slightest bit of common sense can see right through the bullshit that she is spewing. Anybody.
For far too long, we have all known this is not working as it can and as it should. And so, as I said at the beginning, these issues are highly consequential for our.
Why are we watching? Because we have to. But I truly want to know if she's going to answer questions. That's what I want to know. I want to know if she's going to answer questions.
As your president, and time for that make our country strong.
Wait. Look at the Fox News headline. Look at the Fox News headline. Holy shit, Fox News is trolling the shit out of her. Look at that. Holy shit. Fox, let's go.
Arizona, it is time for us to turn the page on the ugly battles that have characterized our politics. And it is time to move forward together.
I wasn't following the prompts earlier, but now I am. Kamala complains about her own border failures. Okay, this is good. This is good.
To achieve real.
It's into Jesse Waters prime time now, so I bet Jesse Waters is his team is probably behind this.
Those solutions that make our country stronger. And I know we can get this done. I know we have the will. I know we have the courage. I know the solutions are at hand. And I know we are ready. And so with all of that, I say thank you. May God bless you. And may God bless the United States.
Take questions. Take questions. Don't run, coward. Of course.
So that was Kamala Harris's big Border Patrol speech, and it was probably one of the more ridiculous speeches we've ever heard from any politician.
Thank you.
And that includes Kamala Harris.
Thank you.
She said she takes border security very seriously. That's a lie. She's been in power almost 4 years. She doesn't take it seriously at all. It's the first time she's ever been to the border. She says we must reform our immigration. The Congress and the Senate for the first 2 years, they never touched it. They did Green New Deal stuff. And
you see, when Trump has his rally, what does he do? Afterwards, he sits there and he shakes hands, you know, he's waving to people, he's dancing, he's having a good time. As soon as that thing ended, she turns around and leaves. No energy, no authenticity, no anything, because that was all a friggin' paid bots is all that essentially was. That's all that was. There was no authenticity behind that at all.
Instead, she praised the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol hates Kamala Harris. They've endorsed Donald Trump. They've just called her a failure. She says we need more Border Patrol agents. More Border Patrol agents don't matter.
When the waves move a little bit, this was the camera I was referring to. This is in Cedar Key. It's on the east side of the Big Bend. They took a nasty hit last year with storm surge from Hurricane Idalia. This has eclipsed that by quite a bit, by over a foot. This is a record storm surge now in Cedar Key. And Hurricane Helene, it made a little bit, just a tiny bit of an east jog as it was approaching land. And I think that ended up being an even worse thing for Cedar Key. But Robert, you did not get in the actual eye wall. You were in the closest outer band to the eye wall. And I know you've been in a lot of these storms.
2 people killed in possible tornado in Georgia.
during that, if I'm not mistaken. That was a Category 2, I believe, at landfall. How did this one stack up?
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell at this point because of the darkness as far as damage. As far as winds go, I have experienced a lot worse, but, that is when I've been in the eastern eye wall and even the northwest eye wall of some storms. But when you're on the fringes, it often is a less impact. That doesn't mean that there is not impacts in this area that we'll be able to assess when the sun does come up. Certainly, I mean, think about it. This entire town is out of power, over 1 million people. I will say this, over 1 million customers without power, man, is that significant. So as far as, what I've experienced in that realm.
I'll show you guys this one really quick. Share my screen right here.
But because the storm was moved,
I'm gonna back this up a little bit.
Impressive graphic. I see it. What do you got? What is? Oh, that's just a background. This map is wild.
Yeah. So, and this is something that I saw Jeff Masters write on Twitter, but yeah, we've seen more Cat 4s and Cat 5 landfalls in the U.S. over the past 8 years than we saw in the preceding 57.
That's crazy.
And
that is crazy.
Our computers tell us that this is a sign of the future. We're already seeing that transition because of the warmer climate and more of these hurricanes intensifying right up to landfall, and thus staying.
Michael, again, I wasn't there, but there's people in the chat that were there. Michael absolutely leveled Panama City, Florida. And for those that remember, was Panama City the official landfall area of Michael?
I'm just building notes, but there's another supply in the truck
but
still.
I know that it absolutely just destroyed Panama City, Florida. Donut Lord says that I watched the Thunderbolts trailer. We did. The problem is that Disney blocked our live stream, so we had to cut the reaction out of the Geek Gamers Daily because Disney blocked our live stream. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Panama City was the actual official landfall place for Michael, if I'm not mistaken. So but yeah, that's crazy to see this right here, man. To see all these major hurricanes.
Cat 4s, Cat 5s, and when they make landfall.
You know what was interesting about this, Jeff, was that the ocean heat content really backed off once it got offshore of Tampa. Yet it actually intensified
Mexico Beach. Okay.
As it got into lower ocean heat content.
It's a great it's a great observation, and the reason is because the loop current is not only very hot, but it's very deep. So ocean heat content is essentially the additive of hot water at the surface and the hot water below. Once you get into the northern Gulf, it becomes really.
Somebody says, "Bro, you're staring at the map." Yes, motherfucker. I am, just like you are. You can't tell where the official landfall is listed based on the documentation. That's why I'm asking. And apparently it's Mexico Beach, which is right outside of Panama City.
Shallow. But because the storm was moving at around 25 miles an hour, it didn't need deep hot water.
There's probably somebody watching me. There's probably these new people watching, and they're like, this guy just called somebody in his chat a motherfucker. What is wrong with this guy? I swear there's so many people probably judge me.
Because it only needed hot water at the surface. And of course, surface waters in the northern Gulf are record levels. And at the beaches here in the Bay Area, our water temperatures have been running around 88, 89 degrees or so. So ocean heat content really only matters when a storm is moving really slowly and it needs, and it kind of brushes away the surface hot water, and then below it, upwelling occurs. And if it's hot below that too, then there's no essentially relief in cooler water.
Let's see. Where did I saw a comment.
Let's try and move on my moonmark.
Jeremy is angry because of his closeted homosexuality. Listen, I was not aware your mom had a penis until the moment happened, and I ran really quickly, okay? So you probably need to tell her she needs to disclose that information sooner, all right?
What? All right, so let's explain the plan. We're basically wrapping up our coverage here momentarily. We're going to be going till 12:30 Eastern. And it's because our entire team is very much desperate for rest. We've tried to provide good, credible information information to our audience.
Squad lead, I've got bad truck.
It was for days.
You go to
No, never mind. No, never mind. Sorry, I thought I heard a Yankee truck, but it's one of us.
Good reason. And here we have this Florida landfall, and we know that there's still many sections of Florida right now that are getting hit tremendously hard by Helene, and now Georgia's on deck, if not already being hit.
Stay safe in Georgia.
I've been asking for a positional update, a live radar update.
Amazing.
You've got both. I have it on. You've got Source 120 has got the stats and the position, and Weather 4 has got the radar, so you can punch either one up. So there it is. That's the 12 o'clock update. Still 140 miles per hour maximum sustained wind. Yep, 40 minutes.
Crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah. So the pressure has not went up, which the higher the pressure, that means the storm is starting to lose, you know, some of its power. But so the pressure hasn't dropped, and it's still at 140 miles an hour after it's already inland. That is crazy right there. Holy shit.
Now in the portion of the eye wall, which right now looks to be maybe the strongest, the north to northeast. We're not seeing too many lightning strikes, but boy, I don't know, Jeff, if you saw when this, right before this made landfall, the lightning, it just lit up. It was 600 lightning strikes in 15 minutes. I'm going to be really and then the storm activity around the eye wall calmed down a bit.
We saw that, and you know, I was at that point. I said, "Oh boy, this is not good. It's going to make landfall in like 6 hours, and all of a sudden now we're getting all this lightning." What lightning means is that we have overshooting tops. So what that means is that we get big thunderstorms start to build around the eye wall, and all that energy.
Waiting on those supplies. Just spawn on the opening.
Up and they overshoot whatever the top of the clouds are. Well, that energy, which is vertical energy, eventually becomes energy that spins in a counterclockwise around the eye. So that energy gets converted from these overshooting tops into powering the hurricane for the hurricane stronger. So when we see a lot of lightning, we know that we're probably.
I haven't heard a lot of reports about tornadoes, which is good. But I imagine that you're going to start hearing reports of. Well, I mean, I know earlier you said somebody said that y'all been dealing with tornadoes in South Carolina all day long. So, but I haven't heard any that after this has made landfall. We haven't heard a lot about tornadoes. It doesn't mean there aren't any. I'm just saying I haven't heard a whole lot about that yet. We will see. Let's listen to these guys.
Border into Alabama and Georgia, and wreaked havoc to the agriculture there because it maintained its intensity. So yeah, the next stop for this, we're going to see some catastrophic flooding.
We're going to leave up at the request of our audience. We're going to leave up radar, wobble tracker, and then of course a reminder if you send in photos and videos to WFLA.com/reported. We have a lot to figure out here at WFLA about how our coverage continues in the hours ahead, both on air and online. First light is going to be massively significant for the Tampa Bay area, for Florida's Big Bend.
Enemy supply drop on my ping.
How much destruction?
Okay, I've got a couple pictures to show you guys really quick here. Share this screen. So more pictures. Shed just completely turned over. This building's destroyed.
Be careful. To do.
Looks like a hardware store or grocery store or something right there. I'm going to be careful about scrolling Twitter because, I'm just going to be careful. So, you know, I wish they would, I don't know, I wish they'd make it easier where I'm on screen and I don't have to worry about scrolling past, you know, hang on, let's see. Breaking news, that Chris Gore life is. Look at this. Alan E. screenshotted me.
On my ping, Mr.
It says, breaking news, that Chris Gore life saved thanks to his recently purchased Batman Crocs. That's what's up right there, okay? I'm gonna retweet that. I'm gonna retweet that. Oh man, Crocs are the way to go, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna come up with some Geeks and Gamers 199 Crocs. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and I think everybody's gonna love them. Okay, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Well, there's a Sunoco gas station just completely destroyed.
Probably just recon teams.
Wow, that's not that bad. I mean, that's kind of bad, but I mean, that's not like total destruction.
Are we so afraid of women?
Blueberries,
Yeah, you got paid. You got paid less because you have a shitty fucking agent. Jennifer, stop crying.
It's also scary to know it's been proven through science that human activity, that climate change is due to human activity.
Is that why you fly a private jet anywhere you go, Jennifer?
And we continue to
ignore
ignore
it. Well, she's not lying there.
The only voice that we really have is through voting.
But the only thing we can do is to vote.
Somewhere around
So, and we voted, and it was really startling. You know, you're watching these hurricanes now, and it's hard, especially while promoting this movie, not to feel Mother Nature's rage, wrath.
Well, I guess, you know, she's right. Mother Nature is angry. America voted Trump, and Mother Nature wanted Hillary to win. Damn it! Mother Nature's angry. Send the hurricane! You should have voted for Hillary. Take this! Fucking dim can you be? My God, how do you end up like this? I don't understand. It blows my mind.
It's hard, especially while promoting this movie, not to feel Mother Nature's rage, wrath.
We are using
Hurricanes never happened before. It's hurricane season, and they use it.
You down to watch me do pull-ups?
Just stop them.
Yeah. You fix your printer.
I'll go back. I'll spawn on G4 and then.
Nice. Printer, I think it costs more than expensive nowadays.
To blame the government.
Damn.
Donald Trump. Oh my God, you fucking idiot.
Pewds is great, man. Pewds is great. Yeah, that reminded me of that. So look at that. A $2 super chat made that happen. Okay, a $2 super chat made that happen.
I just got shot in the courtyard.
So that's just some basic flooding right there.
Got an OP.
No telling like what the elevation is or anything like that, so it's hard to tell. Laughing Man says, where do all the alligators go when the water rises? That's a great question. It's actually a really good question. That's a scary thing to think about. It's a very scary thing to think about. Okay, what is this? All right, so let's see here.
Looks like we have a heavy tank.
Shit. Sniper squad over here. About over in the wheat field.
VPN, guys. I just wanted to say.
All right, we got more
Is that
video.
hurricane,
Let's see. What is this?
Moving towards us.
Yeah.
So the camera is rocking. Dude, look at the water level. Holy shit. And that was hours ago. That is
supplies
crazy.
dropped
The
just
water
behind
level's
us.
insane. Yikes. And that would be storm surge right there.
Yeah, behind the
that
point,
would be
approximately
storm
on
surge.
my observed marker.
And that is probably
I
going to
didn't
be
get a
completely
great look, but that's the
underwater
right direction.
by the time it made landfall and everything. I don't know exactly where this is at.
It was pretty close. Wasn't that far.
But yeah. Shoo. So then we've got this. Some of the waves. Looks like the surfers are out there. Let's see if there's. Yeah, that's just basic stuff right there. Just the whistle of a long black train. Piano Dean says, once and for all, Jeremy is fake gay. Topher says, I bet you Beardo could decurve Florida. Damn. The dude says, if you're going to judge Jeremy on anything, judge him on his hamburger helper fetish and his gayness. Yet to confirm if the two are related in any way. There is nothing wrong with hamburger helper, and I will die on that hill. Okay. There you go. Eric K says, where the heck is Morgan Freeman to calm this down? Ryan says, say a prayer for Jay. I board a plane for Atlanta in 4 hours. Dude, be safe. I can't imagine that plane's gonna take off. Bob says, weather dominator strikes again. Damn you, Cobra. Eric K says, Jeremy is playing with fire on Twitter X, going from storm and flooding to some thought saying, you think this is hurricane? It's wet chick out my OnlyFans. Yeah, I heard that. It's a very dangerous game. Shadow Stan says, Jeremy is an SSJ3. Old Renaissance Boomer says, if you're not wet, does that make you a dried fig? Micah D2 says, OMG, I haven't seen Jeremy Grimes' hair in years. Grand Potato Cope. Copied Kitty says, stay safe for 10. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mac Jerry for 10 says, my Aunt Dorothy just texted me her house blew away to a land of IDOT. She met drunk 3PO Scarecrow and a gay 10-man named Jeremy and a cowardly Beardo. They all met the wonderful Donald of Trump. I was worried there for a minute. I'm like, oh no, what happened? Skywalker DFS says, Jeremy, can we get a swig of water for the Oakland A's fans? We lost our team today. Haven't cried this much since my brother died. Forever, Oakland Athletics. What happened today? Swig of water. Did I?
All right.